All right, Benchmade Claymore. Bit the new Benchmade side opening auto push button, plunge lock, as usual. Poor focus. Anyway, I'll go ahead and open it up. And then I got the AFO2. Give you kind of a little comparison there. Very similar. There are differences, of course, and I'll get to that. And then, of course, Old Faithful here, the AFO 9050 Gen 2, and then the AFO2 Gen 1, I guess you could say. And then the Claymore. So that Claymore, I would say it's 8.6 inches long because it has a 3.6-inch blade and a 5-inch handle. The AFO2, the one in the middle there, 3.6-inch blade, 5-inch handle, which actually includes this backspacer or glass breaker, depending on how you want to look at it. I think it's just a backspacer. And then this guy, a little shorter handle because it doesn't have that. And this one actually is a little elongated for that kind of peak back here. Otherwise, same dimensions, mostly lengthwise. Of course, we got aluminum handle, and then Grivery. Same material as the, everybody's familiar with the Griptilian. So the big difference, get this out of the way, is the weight. This guy and this guy, 5.8 ounces. Okay. And I think it was about 6/10 of an inch wide for the handle. And this actually is the same. Now, if you measure it up here, it's 6/10 of an inch, but it actually tapers when you get down here to the hilt. And it tapers a little bit that way too. Obviously, you got your finger guards up here, and it tapers down to the hilt here, but then also this way, dimensionally this way, 6/10 of an inch here, and then it tapers kind of like that Microtech SOCOM Elite. A little bit of that, and it has a little bit of a palm swell in the middle there, which is nice. I find it extremely comfortable. I really like this knife. Big difference, change. And what is this, the 9070? That can't be right. I can't remember what model number it is. CPM D2. So, great. I mean, so far I have not sharpened it. I've had it for a week. I just got back for R&R. A couple days off here. But I have been reefing on this knife pretty hard. It's pretty cool because I definitely value it, but it's a user. And as well as these are too. I've never just banged on them. But this thing, I've actually, we do a lot of hiking and kind of create trails. And so I'm actually using this to limb stuff up, smaller stuff like willows, brush, basically just walk by, grab a bush and whack it clean. So let's get a little bit of that, but then also like just a little bit of wood carving and whatnot. Torquing on it pretty good. I've torqued on this one pretty good as well. Just not a whole lot of chopping with it. And then this one not so much. This is more of my utility knife, so pretty much just need for needs, not for fun. Whereas this is definitely more entertainment. But it's definitely holding up well so far. They do say, I think on the website, honestly, if you look this up, if you look this knife up on the Benchmade website, it does say, there it says U.S. manufacturer. That's kind of cool. That goes back to that kind of that Claymore mine motif that they kind of have going with this thing. And then dash dot. I looked that up, and I think it's just 3 letters, I guess. I actually did look it up. Didn't make a lot of sense. So if somebody, I think it was FTE. So if somebody knows what that means, by all means, put it in the comments, because to me it just seems random, but I wouldn't know. I'm not in the know. Anyway, great knife. The only issue I've had is it did loosen up. I didn't carry it yesterday. I just got back last night, but I didn't carry it yesterday. because it was loosening up. I didn't have any way of tightening it. I didn't have a Torx wrench with me, so I figured instead of having it kind of flopping around, getting torqued on that pivot, I just put it away, grab my auto Adamas, put that back into action again. So that's the only issue. I got back, tightened it up. I'll probably put some Loctite on it tonight if it loosens up again. But this thing has got extremely snappy spring in it. And it locks up. I mean, this thing is rock solid. Like, there's no play in it. And I know I'm doing this, but even if I had two hands right here, which I can't do at the moment, rock solid. So easy adjustment. You kind of crank it down pretty good. And it just kind of has good tolerances. It got like a Microtech. And you don't have to be spot on. You can kind of tweak it down, and it works. You can kind of notice that it is a tad bit off center. That's unfortunate. They had a black one. I bought a Sportsman's Warehouse. They had a black one, and then this olive green one, and they both exactly the same. When it did get loose, obviously it was kind of flopped over to this side. Tightened it up. It pulled it back towards the pivot bolt. Pulled it this way. And I think that's about as good as you can get. I could flex on it and everything. I just haven't yet. I think I probably could straighten it out. That's what I did with my Crooked River. But, I mean, other than that, the tolerance, I just don't really want to mess with it because the tolerances are so good. There's a lot of differences here between this. God, I wish this thing would focus. You could see it stepped. The tang of the blade is stepped there. It might be kind of hard to see in there. I might not even get to it because it's hard to see. But if anybody points that out in any other videos, it's worth taking a look at. I think that's where they're getting their strength from this lock. Because getting back to Benchmade on the website does say that this is the strongest folding knife they make. Now, if you look at like a retailer, I think they say it's the strongest side opening auto Benchmade makes. So I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I'm not gonna be the judge on that. I'm just pointing out that they've said that, which gets me thinking because I don't doubt it. I mean, they do have that hex stop pin, just like this one. Actually, just like this one because it's the Gen 2 9050. And then they also have that step tang, which means when the plunge lock comes across, I think it just pinches even more on that tang, and apparently means it can't flop side to side or release or something. I don't know. Anyway, you can see how big that stop or that lock bar is there. Okay, and then actually put these side by side because I just got back and I didn't carry this AFO2 with me, so I couldn't compare it until today. But honestly, they're the same size. I know it's hard to see because that one is black, but they appear to be the same size, dimensionally wise, like diameter. So I don't know where they're coming up with it's the strongest one because I mean this is a completely metal constructed knife. Same pivot, I assume. Same button, same dimensions on the lock bar. And then same blade, width. It's their 1/8 of an inch. So anyway, and then weight-wise, okay, here's another big deal. 5.8 ounces for these. There again, both pretty much the same weight. 5.8 ounces. Fairly hefty for a 3.5-inch blade. I don't have a problem with it. My favorite knives of all time ever, and always probably will be. I'm pretty biased on that though because I've packed these for so long. 3.5 ounces. So that Grivery handle, and even though it's lined, they say it's full liners, and it's kind of like a griptilian though. It comes back to, I think it comes back into here somewhere. So it's not like fully lined this way, but all the locking mechanism is lined, and it's fairly thick. I mean, that's not 1/8 of an inch, but it might be like a tenth of an inch, I think. Very solid though. I mean, that spring, and then even shutting it, it's got a good solid click. It's cool. It's ribbed on the inside, just like a griptilian. I'm not making that word up. That's the word they use, is ribbed. And then on the outside, of course, and it's actually more comfortable than that griptilian because it doesn't have all the funky points. It's got good jimping here, good jimping here, nothing sharp, good jimping back here. And then these guys are just add a little extra traction, but not bad at all. Some people I know have pointed out on other knives how it's sharp in here. These handle scales are a little sharp, but hasn't bothered me, and I've torqued on this pretty hard. It's a good knife, good solid. So at CPM D2, I think I say it's like 60 to 62 Rockwell. I mean, I don't think it's great. Still, it's not a very good stainless as far as stains, like rust goes. It's not the best, but they did coat it. And God dang it, I can't remember the name of that coating they put on here. It's not carbon nitride, but it's something else. Anyway, it's kind of got a coarse feel to it a little bit. I think it's actually smoothing out now. Seems pretty durable though. Because like I said, I've cut a lot of things. I've cut a lot of wood with it, and parachute cord as usual. No hoses with this guy yet, and it wasn't like super sharp out of the box, I don't think, but sharp enough, I think. And I'm not going to sharpen it. I'll take it out for another 2 weeks, and next go around, next days off, I'll put an edge on it. But it's working now, so I'm kind of testing it, Yeah, it's holding up really good. The big thing is the weight. So I'd imagine if somebody's out there and they really like side opening autos and strong ones, this is the way to go. If they're after a lightweight one, you can always get these guys. They're still selling these. It appears now you can kind of only get the ones that are serrated. I mean, for what I use this knife for, actually, I am not. It's not bothering me one bit that this thing is serrated. I've only used the serrations, and they haven't really been in my way a whole lot. And like I said, I'm being pretty rough with this knife. So imagine if I'm chopping some branches and whatnot, and if I do nick up any of these serrations, I would point that out later down the line. But I mean, so far they're holding up as usual. I mean, I've had these quite a bit. I mean, they've taken a lot of damage. Not this particular knife, but a knife exactly like it. I never had any issues with it. It's nice to have a complete fine straight edge such as this, but I like it. I like having a knife with me that has serrations too. And you can see the blade shapes here. It's just kind of a direct representation of that AFO2. I think that whole blade shape, maybe a little bit in the swedge here. This is a little deeper swedge than the AFO2. And this one actually does not. Oh, yeah, it does have flats. I thought it did. Flats, about the same. Hard to see, I know. Maybe not the best backdrop, but this is what I got. It's my tailgate. Yeah, I figured to pull it out. I think a guy commented in one of my videos here previously. I think it was on that. Well, it would have been on the bailout video I did, or the Auto Adamus. He pointed out he got one of these. Commented he got it, he loved it. And I saw that, I checked it out. I think after I read that comment, I appreciate that comment. And I was thinking, man, I just like I just obviously love the design. But I'm thinking, well, yeah, I mean, if it's Grivery, it's just gonna be lighter weight. And of course, it is. And that grip tooling I've got, it's never shown any weaknesses whatsoever. It's just lightweight, more durable too. If you drop it on the ground, you don't get any rub marks or scuffs or whatnot. I know it's not a big deal, but it is what it is. Extra little stories on aluminum. That's my favorite handle material. But I tell you what, if a guy wanted something lighter weight because he's a little bit more logical and you're counting ounces, man, it's a pretty damn good choice. 3.5 ounces is a full-size knife in my opinion. Fully functional, strong, and it's an automatic, which means you don't have thumb studs in your way, which is a benefit, whether you want to admit it or not. Still folds. You can stick it in your pocket. I think it's a really good way to go. Anyway, I really like it. And if you're after a side opening auto, it's definitely one to look at. I'll be packing this sucker all summer. It's going to be in use. Right now, my carry out, or my load out for knives, I kind of say that facetiously. These two. This one's always with me. This is my user. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.